Good evening, beautiful people.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello. So, I know it's going to take a moment or two for our lives to actually catch up with the real world. So, we'll give you a few seconds to settle in. I always like to go and check the streams because I like to make sure that people can actually see us. That just shows my faith in technology.
Hello, hello, hello.
Okay, I got us here. Okay, and I am going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I see we got one viewer. Hey, let me put the
Hello.
chat on so if somebody does decide to talk. So, we got our topic for today. First, I hope everybody enjoyed their holidays. Okay,
Oh
did
yeah.
you get did you get fat on the
Family time.
turkey? Did you have some ham? Or did you just do something different? But our topic today is this shipping issue,
Mm.
right? T.K.O.S is definitely suffering.
Oh yeah.
Um, Shipping is a nightmare right now, right?
Mm.
And, you know, it's suffering across the board. This
Mm-hmm.
is not just like you ordered your Amazon earrings and they didn't show up on time. Like, this is
Mm-hmm.
so much bigger than that.
Oh yeah.
um, but I felt there was a need to talk about it, right? Some people, like, they hear little talks here and there, like, oh, yeah, something's going on, but I don't really know what. Um, I was watching a 60 Minutes episode a couple weeks ago, and they brought it up, and I was like, yeah, I didn't know that. Does anybody else know what's going on? So I figured, why not? Let's talk about it, and let's see what other people have as some insight as well.
Oh yeah. Well,
You
all I
know,
know is I ordered a washing machine and I didn't get it until like 5 months later. I was like, where the hell
that's
is my washing machine? And
that's a big issue.
yes,
Yeah, 5 months.
yes.
Ugh.
First thing the
I've
person
been
said,
like,
oh, because of COVID. Okay, COVID, but something else is going on. You know,
girl,
what the
in
hell
that
going on?
in that amount of time, you could have made your own washer.
Oh
Just
yeah,
saying.
and the amount of money I spent in the laundromat was crazy.
I
I
can
didn't
only
know. I
imagine.
haven't been in the laundromat so long. I didn't know the prices.
Girl, I decided, to do spring cleaning in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
And I took all of my comforters at one time to the laundromat.
Uh huh.
I didn't understand that the big giant washer was like $10. And I was
Oh
like, that's
yeah,
just one load. I need more than one for my comforters.
it probably cost $20 to dry because it ain't drying all the way.
For real. For real.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
Khalees. Um, so yeah, let's talk about this shipping issue, right? Um, we did our research, right? Because we're not just gonna be talking out our asses. We actually want to share real information with you guys.
Mhm.
Christmas is around the corner, right? And listen, not everybody buys their Christmas gifts in July, okay?
Mhm.
Most of America waits until December and they're like, oh, I got how many more paychecks before Christmas? Let me
Mhm.
hurry up and get on that.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Mhm.
And um, I mean, there's a lot of people who do like 90% of their shopping online anyway. They've always
Mhm.
been that way. But
Mhm.
the rest of the world is catching up with that 5% now
Mhm.
because of quarantine.
Oh yeah.
So I would say we rely heavily on shipping,
Mhm.
right? Who's
Oh
got
yeah.
time to go wander around in COVID affected malls. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, do you really want to be that close to people at this
Yeah.
time of the year?
Mm-hmm.
I try not to be, you
Don't
know?
forget the old age.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get in the middle. It seemed like I didn't think we were gonna get here, but we here now. We
Yes.
are technically middle age.
Girl, stop reminding me.
Yeah. So
Okay.
walking around in the mall is kind of like a no-no.
Yeah, exactly.
Take
Oh,
10
I'm
steps,
on my
you out.
couch and I got a cell phone. Yeah, let's order that. For real. But it's crazy that since COVID happened,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, everyone is heavily relying on purchasing online. I've never done so much purchasing online in my life
Oh
than I
yeah.
have in the last year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I'm that person that I need to go to the store. I
Mm-hmm.
need to be there. I need to touch it. I need to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I need to smell it. I need to
Mm-hmm.
try it on. I'm not all about that ship back because I got to exchange something. I'm
Mm-hmm.
horrible at that.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Were you always an online shopper, Keisha? Or did you?
No, because I was addicted to coupons at one point. So
I love it.
it's real. It's an addiction. People don't understand. Once you start using them coupons and you see those numbers go down on the price register, it's like every day you got to get out and be like, oh shoot, I just spent minus $100. So you got that.
Girl,
It's practically free.
teach me your ways.
So but since COVID, I have been doing a lot of online shopping too because it's
Gotcha.
convenient. I don't got to walk outside the house. I don't got to pay no money for gas.
Ah,
With those prices.
for real. Did you
You
see
know?
gas going back up? It's like 3.49. I'm like, I'm
uh-huh.
waiting for T-Mobile Tuesdays. I'm going to Stop and Shop so I can get these discounts.
I'm like, please bring a BJ's or Sam's Club gas station next to me.
Yes. Yeah,
Look, I'm trying to wonder if I'm
I forgot about
paying
them.
more to go to the town that has the gas than to actually get the gas here.
I completely forgot about BJ's giving you discounted gas. Like, how stupid
Mm-hmm.
am I? The BJ's near my house, they
Uh-huh.
don't got a gas station. I got to
Mm-hmm.
go all the way to Farmingdale. But now
Mm-hmm.
that I work in Farmingdale, how convenient is that?
Oh yeah, every time you need to fill up, better fill up there.
Yes, girl. I'm going to be there all the damn time.
Oh yeah,
Just
but
saying.
the increase in online shipping has been great. But I'm trying to figure out how is the demand and supply changed that much different? Are we really shopping that much more? Because I'm always on conspiracy theory.
True.
So
True.
I'm trying to figure out, are they trying to create a shortage to do something else to inflate prices? When you
Mm.
inflate prices, less people could afford things. Less people could afford things. There's more poor people, rich
Hmm.
people. My mind's going all over like 2%. I don't know if you ever
Exactly.
seen that show. What is it called? The 2% or
Yeah,
21%, something like that on Netflix.
I
Yeah,
got you.
I'm going there.
Too funny. Well, I can't say that I'm too far behind you because I mean, I would not doubt that there's some sort of motive lurking in the shadows,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So, I've been looking into this.
Hmm.
I'm going to say that yes,
Hmm.
I think online shopping has
Hmm.
spiked tremendously in the
Hmm.
last year and a half, right? More so because the majority of the population was not trying to go anywhere. They were
Hmm.
literally like, I'm home, drop it
Hmm.
off on the step. I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah.
wipe it down after you leave, and then I'm gonna
Hmm.
take it. Um, but here's the thing, we have to remember also that during COVID, a lot of people were laid off.
Oh yeah.
A lot of jobs ceased to exist anymore. So with having so many people, like the most people
Mm-hmm.
in decades
Mm-hmm.
that were on unemployment,
Mm-hmm.
now who the hell is working? You know? So you got to have people that you have to have the truck drivers that are willing to pick up the cargo and deliver it.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have warehouse workers who are bringing in the inventory to stock it and bring it
Mm-hmm.
out to the stores or to the consumers. You have to have dock workers
Mm-hmm.
over at the ports where all of these things are being received. So, um, and then I kind of like, I dug a little bit deeper, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I didn't realize chassis, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
chassis that connects to the tractor trailer,
Mm-hmm.
so you can bring the containers to
Oh,
the
yeah.
warehouse. These chassis are owned by a private company.
Mm.
And these are kind of like rented out
Mm.
for businesses to utilize.
Mm.
So it's kind of like, okay, all of these chassis are mine. you know, there's
Mm-hmm.
a shortage on
Mm-hmm.
chassis. So um there's not enough to go around in certain areas, and that is like a small contributing factor to
Mm-hmm.
this, bigger issue. But um again, like I want to touch on what all of the issues are. Okay, because yes, we can say somebody's making over like a fat rat
Mm-hmm.
on creating these delays,
Oh yeah, it's
right?
definitely happening. But who is it? He's the CEO of a freight company, Jeremy Nixon, right? I don't know why every time I say Nixon, I gotta do this.
It's been engraved in our brains.
Yes. But
The younger generation is clueless.
oh yeah, he predicted this, and
Hmm.
what he says is that local governments need to increase the spending on like critical parts, like you said, the chassis of the supply chains. They need to spend money on the ports, the railways, warehouses, the roads, so they can increase the capacity of ongoing demand. Um,
Okay.
and even some of the ships, need to be repaired that the government's not spending money, but then you have private shipping also.
Yeah.
But all of these things he predicted that if they didn't spend the money on it during this COVID situation, that these type of things were going to happen.
Mm.
So people was thinking it,
Oh yeah,
but
definitely.
nobody getting together to
Yeah.
to do it. Like when Donald Trump was president, everybody could talk. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't like him for a lot of reasons, but the employment was okay until
Yeah.
the tail end of his presidency. Then it went up
Right.
to like 14%. Now we're supposed to be way below. We're supposed to be like 4.6% unemployment, and people are not working. I seen somebody working a Burger King, one
Okay.
person by himself, the whole Burger
Wow.
King. How is that
Yeah.
possible?
Well, exactly. I mean, you think about the whole thing is that so much of the US was out of jobs, right?
Mhm,
But the flip side of that, and I
mhm,
only speak from my own experience,
mhm,
um, people who were laid off
mhm,
or let go because the company shut down,
mhm.
those jobs, people were comfortable. They were at a level, right?
Oh yeah.
So I was comfortable. I was
Mhm,
management. I've taken a huge fall off the cliff. Um, for me to go back out to the workforce,
mhm,
why would I want to go and work at McDonald's? I mean, don't get me wrong, I need a
mhm,
job,
mhm,
but how do I go from being up here at
Mhm.
management, and now I'm like, you want fries with that?
Oh, shit.
There's a big, I mean, don't
Stop.
get me wrong. I'm not
I know what you
putting
mean.
down McDonald's or anything like that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that
Hmm.
when you've grown accustomed
Oh
to
yeah,
earning a certain salary, how
that's
do
true.
you take a 50% cut on
Hmm.
your pay
Oh yeah.
uh, or more? And that's the thing. A lot of the jobs that are available now are kind of like entry level jobs.
Hmm.
There's not a lot of places that are hiring upper management
Hmm.
or something comparable. We'll say that. And if they are, do you have the right experience for that
Hmm.
field?
Hmm.
So that's what I've been looking at. So talking about this with the shipping, with this whole shipping
Hmm.
debacle, right? Um, I looked into it, truck drivers, right?
Hmm.
Now, who grows up and says, I want to be a truck driver? Like that's not somebody's dream,
Hmm.
but as we become adults, we see there's money involved in being a truck driver,
Oh yeah.
but it's not a glorified job. Like
Hmm.
we grew up in like, we're like, we want to be doctors and we want to be
Hmm.
CEOs and like, we want to be in charge.
Hmm.
Being a truck driver, you're just like, yeah, not my dream. So the jobs are out there. Truck drivers
Hmm.
make good money.
You think people just don't want the jobs that's being offered? Yeah, because I'm
Exactly.
looking at the numbers from 14%, and then now you said it's 4.6% that the unemployment rate has dropped to. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out, because every time I look around, there's always a shortage. I'm trying to figure out where these people with the jobs at, and how did the unemployment rate decrease so much? You know,
Exactly.
we know people
Exactly.
went back to work from COVID, but still, uh, you're saying
It's
you
not the
short
same.
here, you short there, like at the docks they're short. You know, why
Yeah,
aren't people getting those jobs?
exactly. I looked into some information. I'm going to get to that in just a second. Khalees, I
Hmm.
want to make sure that I acknowledge, because I always appreciate you supporting our show.
Oh yeah, you got
Um,
some good stuff too.
you know, but Khalees said that they have to fix it quick because online is more efficient and preferred, especially in the time we are in now with crowds and COVID-19, which,
That's
yes,
true.
I agree. And there is more variety online. Yes. Because you can actually you can make purchases of items that may not be in your local store, which I run into that issue all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh yeah.
and then also saying supply chains are getting crushed right now, taking longer to get products out. Yes, I do
Hmm.
agree with that. Um,
And it's worldwide too. It's not only in the U.S.
oh, agreed,
Yeah.
agreed.
Hmm.
This is affecting the world, but
Yes. Hmm.
we're talking about here in the U.S. right now. I don't know how much of a following I have outside the U.S.
Well, it's really just
Not
because there's a trickle effect.
yes,
China does the production. If the production is being overwhelmed, then they can't get the stuff to here. That's also a problem too, you know.
exactly.
But,
Well, the big issue in China is the containers themselves. So in China, they have the largest container manufacturer. What the heck was their name? Yeah, it'll come to me. But um, out of Shenzhen, China,
mhm,
is
mhm,
where the biggest shipping container manufacturer resides. China International Marine Containers, right? So
mhm,
CIMC. I
mhm,
don't know how to pronounce. Like we're just gonna say CIMC because that's a mouthful. Um, but here's the big problem: a tariff was placed on
mhm,
this company because apparently they were selling their containers below market rate. So this raised the red flag.
mhm,
So now they're like, oh, you want to put a tariff on us? We don't have
mhm.
enough containers for you. Sorry. get it somewhere else. And we're like, where else? Where else are we gonna get this? You
Uh-huh.
guys are it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I know right now uh they have like truck operations
Mm-hmm.
and the LA port, right? Because let's talk about Los Angeles.
Like
Los
40%.
Angeles, you know, but LA is where it's at. That
Oh
is
yeah.
the hugest port. So they're asking Biden
Mm-hmm.
to rescind this tax
Mm-hmm.
to help alleviate the issue so China can go back to, manufacturing these containers and supplying them to us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, Lord knows if that's going to happen. I mean, Biden's a whole other story. And if it doesn't fit, his ideals, it's probably not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But um,
Well, he lost me at if you don't vote for him, you're not black. and and then when he said 450,000.
oh, girl.
So stuff he said out of his mouth sometimes I just be like, okay.
Yeah. Just go back and sit in the corner,
I'm like, you're
you
gonna be
know,
on you know.
for real. But it's funny. There's there's people, like there's companies in the US that are stating that um it would be beneficial to the US if we started to make our own containers. Is it possible?
Mm.
It is possible. This
Mm-hmm.
would create more jobs. Um, and not for nothing,
Oh yeah.
it would cost less. Having something imported to us, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's taxes and fees and costs, like what the hell? But if
Mm-hmm.
we were doing it right here in the
Mm-hmm.
US, I feel like this would be a game changer. But I found it interesting. I took some notes. Bear with me a second. I
Mm-hmm.
got lots of notes on this, right? There was just like so much to look up about what this whole issue entails. But
Oh, yeah.
they were saying that where did I have it? It was a really good note. And I I want to share with the audience, your girl's on like minimal sleep this week, so bear with me if I have brain farts at times. It's a bad day.
Oh
But we
yeah.
make
I've
it
been
work.
having a crazy week myself.
you
Real
know,
crazy.
but we here to talk. I know that I was just for lack of my notes, because Lord knows where the hell it is. It's here somewhere. But basically they were saying not only is it going to create jobs and stuff, but they were looking at even incorporating some incentives
Mm-hmm.
if these containers were manufactured in the US. Now, is the government going to allow for that? Probably not. I think more people need to be involved. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there's definitely uh, influencers that would be able to push this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, money talks. So obviously, somebody with very deep pockets can push the bill a little bit more. But for now, we're at China's mercy. You know, we're at their mercy unless we make changes within our own process here in the US. Let's
Okay,
just say
and we can do it. We took over industrialism from Germany after World War II.
that.
So why aren't we doing made in the USA again? You know, Biden
Exactly.
supposedly did this, what is it, Build Back Better Act, where he's
Mm,
taking 1.9 trillion that's supposed to be expand like social safety net and fund initiatives for climate change and stuff like that. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, we're doing all this. Climate is important, but the infrastructure of the U.S. is very important because that infrastructure helps
Mm-hmm.
uh, build up, like the guy Jeremy said,
Mm-hmm.
Nixon, build up things to help shipping, and help bring it along. So I just don't know why everybody is not talking together. Like, what is it, Buttigieg? He said they need to have the important conversation because maybe the ports don't talk to the ships don't talk to the people. That's also
Yeah.
slowing things up too. People are not conversing and putting the puzzles together to be like, make things move fluently.
Well, exactly. I mean, I feel like they are talking,
Mhm.
but that's all they're doing
No
is
action.
talking.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's lots of conversation and
Mhm.
absolutely no action. And
Yeah.
again, um, this whole bottlenecking, there's companies that
Mhm.
are benefiting off of this, right?
Mhm.
So, before I get to how they're benefiting, I do want to touch because I saw Stephen said that we don't have a lack of containers, it's lack of drivers and rigs to move the containers. Yes and no. The reason I'm bringing up the container issue is because uh, it is a small factor in the whole process. At one point in time, pre, quarantine, we didn't have a lack of containers.
Mhm.
There was plenty of containers because it was accommodating the shipping process we had at that point in time.
Mhm.
Now that everybody's been sitting at home, we got more time. Yeah, you're working, but you on your computer and you're on your phone and you're on your tablet, and we have more of that impulse buying
Mhm.
because somebody's not looking, over your shoulder the whole time.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Um, people are more involved in improving their homes and their yards and this and that.
Mhm.
So purchasing has gone up.
Mhm.
The amount of containers that we have is not sufficient
Mhm.
to handle this whole flooding of ordering online, right?
Mhm.
Um, that was my point. It's
Mhm.
obviously not the whole reason for this whole debacle, but it's one step in the process.
And we the U.S. Rebounded faster from COVID as far as the recession that we had quicker
Mhm.
than a lot of other countries. So now, as at first we're not shopping, and like you said, the containers are accommodating us. We're home, so we're shopping online a lot, but people don't have jobs to buy money
Mm,
as the way that we're doing before either. So
true.
production did go down because of that, even though we're shopping online and bringing things home. And when that production goes down, I guess people like China do say, okay, well, we can't be doing 50 million. We got to start doing 20 million because we're not
Yeah,
going to overextend ourselves to meet a demand that's not going to happen. And so
true.
you get less production there. But then when we rebounded and we came back quick, kind of.
Yeah,
When we came back, it was like boom, boom, boom. We ordering. People spending money like crazy. People getting stimulus checks, getting Yeezys, whatever, all that other kind of stuff.
exactly.
Now it's like the shipping containers. We had scaled back from that because we cut workers out. We cut this out. We scaled back from that. So now that scaled back, and then you have China who scaled back on production. So now you
Correct.
still got back on all those things. It caused a traffic fuck. you know,
True.
it's
But
just like,
I do want to point out that China didn't scale back on production of a lot of products.
mhm.
Containers, yes.
No products as
Those
well.
the products are still coming
Mhm.
through, but the
Not as
issue is they have nowhere to go.
go. Okay, yeah, I could agree with that one too. But the
Yes.
production did slow down because they couldn't meet the demand, and like you said, they have nowhere to go. Now, Biden does what he says with California because they do 40% of our ports. 40% of reports that we get stuff from in. If he does what he's supposed to do with that, and have all these people talking the way they're supposed to talk, we will be able to scale, scale to maybe even, and do the infrastructure as well. Because
Well,
you gotta have the roads to put all these trucks on.
true. The infrastructure definitely, I feel, needs to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to touch on something you say, but let me not ignore our audience.
Mm-hmm.
So, Khalees said that people are not going back to work because they can make that money other ways, like the stock market, crypto, getting unemployment, and these COVID checks. Now, yes, I'll agree with that up until September, because that's when unemployment was like snip, snip,
Oh
you're
shoot!
done.
Oh shoot!
So unless you went back to work and worked a certain amount of time to
Mm-hmm.
earn some more money and then go back on unemployment, if you didn't do that, you're asked out.
Oh.
you know, and Lord knows if and when we're getting another COVID check.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I do agree. People people took advantage and saved up money and may still be living off of some of that money, so they're not in a rush to go back to work.
Mm-hmm.
um Stephen,
I think too. Uh, there's other avenues out. Like you said, to do to make money,
yeah,
and people are learning too how to do taxes for making that money. They're better served at home than at work.
yeah, well, and a lot of people created their own businesses,
Yeah.
present
Mm-hmm.
party included. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you're starting your own business, what do you need to go back to work for?
Mm-hmm.
So again, that leaves more jobs that are available
Mm-hmm.
with nobody to work at.
Mm-hmm.
um Kalisa, the infrastructure bill. Yeah, I know that we're going to get to that in just a moment. Steven said that one thing he can do, I guess Biden, to reduce. Oh, yeah. I was going to definitely get into that, Steven, reducing the age of the drivers.
Mm-hmm.
So, right now, if you're between 18 and 20, you can't cross state lines
Mm-hmm.
as a truck driver. And that's definitely something that's been talked about. They are trying to push for that. Is it going to happen? I don't know, but there's a lot of conversation about it.
Hey, look,
Um,
if we could send them off to war at 18, why can't they drive across state lines at 18? They
exactly.
drive
And
across seas.
yeah, exactly. And then the other point I also know that they're trying to push on is drug testing, right? So, how many states have already legalized weed? So people are using this recreationally more so now than ever before, between, having, all these different strains and everything. And then you got to go take this drug test. And yeah, it might be legal, but we can't hire you. You don't have a job. So they're trying to push around that. It's an idea
Mm-hmm.
that they switch up the drug tests, like let's change remove certain restrictions. If your state is legal, as long as you didn't come to work high, I mean, you do a random check before they leave out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it's something that needs to be updated with what is current.
Isn't
Um,
I mean, I'm always bordering the line with that one a little bit
what do you mean?
with the drug testing when you're driving
Talk
vehicles.
about it.
Uh, it's almost like, okay, if you're stocking the shop, I can't even say that part. I was gonna say if you're stocking the shelf at a thing, but that could be dangerous too.
Uh-huh.
But when you're on the road, you have to be alert, aware. I don't
Yeah,
know.
girl, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying about.
Using it recreationally at home.
Yeah.
But if you come into work, you
No,
can't come
not
to
I'm not
work
saying at
high.
work. I'm not saying at work. No, not at work. I'm saying you have to be alert and aware. So I prefer someone being tested regularly? Yes. The only reason because I want to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that when they're in that vehicle, nothing is kind of affecting them when they operate in the vehicle.
Yeah, but if you are not smoking it when you have to work, I'm
But
not.
because it does stay in the system for a while.
But that's what we're saying needs to be changed. So I don't
Because
know
it stay in the
how they're
system.
going to change that. I don't know medically, like I don't know, can
Mhm,
you test to see when's the last time that they smoked?
mhm,
I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but what I'm saying is what
mhm,
you do in your personal time. So you get off work Friday, you don't go back to Monday, and you decided to smoke Friday night and Saturday night,
mhm,
and then you stopped and you're good to go back to work on Monday. Who am
mhm.
I to tell you that that disqualifies you from having a job with us? People
That's true.
drink.
I
You
would,
drink
yeah.
Friday night, you drink Saturday night, you come to
Mhm.
work on Monday and you're good.
So, what would you think would be the option of making sure no one
Oh,
is,
girl, I have no idea.
you
I
know,
ain't a doctor.
even though like, I know the thing stays in your system, weed stays in your system, but then it has to be some type of checks and balances. I mean, they can't tell the last time you smoked. That's
But
kind
that's
of
what
what
I'm
they're doing.
saying. Obviously, it's going to be in your system. Is
Yeah.
it going to affect you days later? I mean, unless you're using that bomb ass strain, I don't know. I mean, I took a gummy
Well,
once and
it'll.
it lasted 3 days. I didn't do that no more. But my point is that people drink.
That's
I've
true.
actually worked with some people who drank on the job and
That's
they
true.
were still working, but whatever.
Hmm.
I'm not saying it's right, but what
Hmm.
you do in your personal time should not affect the job that you've applied for as long as you're not using it or you've lowered your, I don't know. As long as it's not on you now, you're not drunk, you're not high
Hmm.
now while you're working.
Yeah, that part I agree with. It's just a gray area because I guess too, I don't know. Maybe they have some other type of sobriety test they could give a driver before he goes on or something like that. Because then, there's
Yeah,
a lot of incidents that do happen with truck drivers. That's
of
not always
course.
reported on the news. Like, what's the guy Tracy Morgan's case? You know,
Mm,
uh, so there has to be. I don't know what the check and balances would be. That's why I'm saying I'm iffy with the drug testing
I,
because.
I give two craps either way.
Mhm,
I'm just saying the fact of there should be there's already discussions out there about it.
mhm,
If they had more uh evidence or a
mhm,
solution to say that this is a viable solution,
mhm.
I'm willing to listen. Like, let's go for it. I'm just saying there has to be options out there
Mhm.
to give more opportunities to people. We
But
need
here's the
drivers.
thing, though.
Hmm?
Like you said, what you do in your personal time. But sometimes when you have a job, you just know you can't do that. If you're working in the army, the certain police departments, you know that they're going to do a lot of testing, random testing, and when you take the job, you know. So that's why it's a. I know I would like to if they could just test the person and be like,
Yeah.
okay, they didn't do
Okay.
it today.
If you're doing this in your own personal time, how is that affecting your job?
But in
That's
your
my point.
personal time, you
Stop
won't
thinking
test the
about the testing. I don't
Yeah.
want you to think about the testing point.
Mhm,
How is it affecting your job
mhm.
if you drink or get high on your personal time?
Personal time, but some people take certain jobs that will say, "This is what you can't do." When
Yeah,
I
no,
was
I get
doing
that.
working for the state, I
We're
already
saying
knew.
throw that out the window.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying at this point. The
Oh, you just saying.
conversation is
Mhm,
we need to change the
mhm,
laws because weed is legal
mhm.
in certain states.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So throw the rule out the window and let's have a conversation.
I don't know about throwing a rule at because you have to have some type of guidelines.
I'm still not following you, my dear. You are stuck on one point.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you have to have some type of guidelines to say
But a
because
guideline for
people.
what? How
because
is
it's
it
kind of
affecting your job?
sometimes it deter you to not do certain things. Like if I'm working for the state, I know I can't. I mean, it's a bad thing because people who do alcohol could do it and come in. But I'm like, I'm working for the state. I know I can't be smoking because
But why
they're going to
can't
do
you be
random testing.
smoking? But
Huh?
exactly. Why can't you do it? Because of the testing. So let's remove the testing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Let's remove the
And
testing
if it
about,
doesn't affect the job, it don't affect the job. When
but
you not
that's my
on your
point. That's what
leisure,
you're stuck
on your
on.
leisure.
Stop
Yeah,
being stuck
I
on
am
it.
stuck on the testing because you know why? Because sometimes a lot of people will be like, well, I ain't gonna get tested, so I might not get caught. And we
Yeah.
have even more accidents that we have now.
Yeah. No. I'm not saying. Okay. So let me rewind a second, Keisha,
Okay.
because I think only you don't understand. We're talking about remodifying the testing process.
Uh-huh.
People are being denied a truck driver job because they have used weed in some time span. Not
No,
that you
I get
showed
what you're
up to,
saying.
wait, listen. Not that you
Mm-hmm.
showed up to work high,
Mm-hmm.
but because you used it in your own personal time and now you're coming to work and got randomly tested. If
Mm-hmm.
they could modify that test, just I'm saying I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
hypothetically, if they could modify that test
Mm-hmm.
to say, okay, you have not smoked in set amount of time, so you can perform your job well. What's the difference?
Because then they're gonna start modifying it for everybody else.
What do you mean?
When you do that, I get what you're saying about forget the testing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I still have to put that in there. Like for the army example,
Okay.
if you start saying, okay, on your leisure time, you could do this and do that and do this, and we could find out that testing, that takes away some of the rules and guidelines that help the army follow what they follow. You know what I mean? As
No,
far as
I don't.
I know you ain't getting it, but as far
No.
as basically for me, certain guidelines help keep certain people in check.
So basically, you're saying once a pothead, always a pothead, and then you're going to be high all the
No,
time?
no, no, no.
I'm just, we're going to take
Okay.
that offline.
Yeah,
Let's
we could
move
agree to
on.
disagree on that one. Agree
Yeah,
to
because
disagree.
you're stuck on guidelines.
Yeah, we could agree to disagree.
um, Stephen had said earlier to allow the pipelines and energy sector to grow. We make cleaner fuel and energy than any other country. How is it greener to have dirty energy from the Saudis, Middle East, or Russia better than our cleaner energy we can provide? Good question.
Huh.
I don't know what's involved in it. I know the idea has been out there all the time about making our own clean energy. Who's doing it? I mean, and who's actually got their finger out there saying, no, you can't do that.
Well, that's what's part of the 1.9 trillion is to help the climate and do certain things within that infrastructure. So
Yes,
that's a part of the Build Back Better Act.
exactly. But when are we doing it? How are we doing it? Who's doing it? Like it was part of the act, but
Mm-hmm.
when? Like, what's the execution on this? That's a question I would love to have answered, but
That's like
I'm
all
not in
things.
that
It
meeting.
take time.
Yeah, I'm not privy to those meetings. Stephen also said we have to create the raw materials to build here in America, stop buying materials from overseas. That would eliminate a lot and produce more jobs here. I mean, I agree with you.
But
It's just
creating what type of materials though? What is
raw materials, he said.
okay?
Um, if Biden wanted to help out the ports, he could work with Panama to open up travel through the canal at a lower rate, paying Panama some money and open up ports on East Coast, which can elevate the backlog on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, but he won't because East Coast ports are in red states for the most part. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I know actually there was conversation about, because, 40% of imports to the US go through Los Angeles and Long
Mm-hmm.
Beach.
Oh yeah.
They were talking about redirecting a lot of those imports to other states, like
Mm-hmm.
say Florida.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that they were even talking about Vancouver. I mean, I don't know where we are with Canada on, shipping our imports there. I don't know what the taxes or the fees would be added on for that, but I know there's conversation about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it would definitely help out to move a lot of those imports to other states,
Mm-hmm.
because the other thing is drivers. Like I said, we've been talking about this whole driving thing. Um, Warehouses, storage space.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that are not available in LA and Long Beach. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Oakland, why don't they utilize Oakland more? You know, they need to start branching out of that whole, 100-mile vicinity
Oh yeah.
and start creating more jobs, start looking for public and private sites to utilize for storage. Because right now in LA and Long Beach, those container yards are filled to capacity.
Oh yeah.
And they are filled so much that I was watching on 60 Minutes. There's a business owner who has been waiting on his shipping container for the last 9 months. 9 months. His shipping container is at the bottom of the pile. And
Oh, that's crazy.
what's that?
I said that's crazy.
It is. And they started charging him storage fees. This man has paid over $1 million in storage fees for a product that has already been shipped and received into the US and is literally just sitting at the bottom of a pile. Where is he at fault and why should he be paying these fees? And his consumers are not getting the product.
Well, they said that they was trying to. I mean, some pundits. I'm not a pundit. This is just my opinion as a 45-year-old middle-aged lady. This is just, because we're not professionals here. So this is just an opinion. But they were stating that the inflation was created
Yeah.
to do this supply and demand thing. And it's
Yeah.
like it goes back to my conspiracy theory. People don't think you could go into a certain time again, but we are going to go into a time that is different from slavery, but is not that far, because it's going to be the people think middle class. It's no middle class no more.
No.
It's no true middle class no more. It's going to be either you poor or you rich, one of the two. And I think that's what they're gearing to create right now. Us thinking that we middle class and we got everything and we okay. I think it's going to be the extremely poor and then just the wealthy.
Possible. I don't think the people will allow for that. Is big business pushing for that?
Oh
Of
yeah.
course.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Of
yeah.
course. But us as middle class, we're pushing through. I mean, I'll be damned. I mean, would I love to be rich? Of course.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at how many entrepreneurs have, come out the woodwork in the last year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But we still have levels, and there's levels that exist within the middle class.
Mm-hmm.
Middle class is not middle class that we knew growing up
Well, $1
or
million. If you
early
have $1
on.
million in assets, makes you middle class right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah,
Just saying, there's too many levels to it.
that's what
You
an
know,
economist to handle.
yeah. We did have some comments while we were debating over this whole drug testing. So Khalees and Steven have gone back and forth about to ban the tests. There's no test currently known of. Yes, it would be nice if there was. Um, if it's legal, don't check. I mean, it's the same thing with alcohol. Alcohol wasn't always legal, and all of a sudden they threw the rule out, and you don't get drug tested for alcohol unless
Yeah.
you've abused it. That's something different.
Get a sobriety test.
Yeah, I mean,
But a lot of times people don't report it. Like this guy's showing that he's drunk.
Yeah,
But that should be a reporting system. I don't know if it is with truckers or something, because you can't be getting on the road crazy.
Well, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's obvious ways that you can tell if somebody is has smoked some weed, but if they took a gummy, their effects would be a little bit different.
Oh,
you
hell
know?
Yeah. That because it hits.
It hits different.
Yeah. And some don't hit right away. So you could be just going about your business. You be like, oh, that didn't do nothing. Let me take another one. Oh, that didn't do nothing. Let me take another one.
Tell me about it.
I took 4 and passed out to the next day.
Girl, I took 3 days. I was high for 3 days. I ain't never slept so much in my life. That's why I said, Tina ain't doing that no more. Don't pass me a gummy. We're good. David said that Amazon is no longer checking for weed, and more companies are stopping as well. I did not know that.
Me neither.
Inquiring minds. They want to know. Alcohol is worse. I banged into work more from hangovers. Facts. I mean, usually from weed, there's really no lasting effects unless you had that gummy I had. But yeah, I mean, there's people who function quite well when they're high. It's like they almost need it. I've known some weed heads in my day, and they actually function like we are right now with no intoxication. Yeah, let's see. They shouldn't use any of those questions if it's legal, and the conversation. See what's up. Yes, he agrees. And then Stephen says, to be clear, there should not be marijuana tests. You're high, your manager should send you home. I mean, facts.
That doesn't happen though. A lot of times those checks and balances don't happen.
A lot of times it doesn't, but again, how it's just talking and thinking outside the box. What are steps that we can do to implement more drivers? I mean, again, there's so many shortages on jobs, right? Not because there's lack of jobs. It could be pay wise. For drivers alone, there's a shortage of just about 80,000 drivers right now in the US. 80,000. That would solve a lot if we could hire 80,000 drivers. Would it solve the whole problem? No, but it would get the ball rolling, right?
Well, I'm trying to figure out, although we having these issues and they're not opening up reports and stuff like that, with this COVID coming back and us coming off of the recession, will, let's say 2023, you think the supply would, the demand of and supply would be as high?
I don't know.
You just think what's happening now.
Exactly. But we've opened up a whole new door. You know, again, a lot of people who were like me, I need to go to the store. I need to touch it. I need to feel it. I need to smell it.
Oh, yeah.
Have become more comfortable or more computer savvy and order everything online. I think this is just the new wave. It's the new normal.
Mm-hmm.
people ordering online. So, how do we accommodate this going forward? How do we, let's say we do go back to basics for whatever
Mm-hmm.
reason and ordering starts to diminish. What happens if something like this ever were to occur again? We're not prepared for it. So
Yeah.
we need to start planning better for the future. We see what a pandemic can do. We've made adjustments for other things. Why have we not changed the infrastructure for shipping?
Oh yeah.
Why?
It's a big issue.
I'll tell you why we haven't made the changes, because certain companies are making out. Somebody's getting paid well enough that they don't want to change it.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why? Somebody's
But
benefiting.
but we know Walmart's benefiting
Girl,
because
Walmart
they
has
do their own
never felt.
private shipping. You know.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. You have the large companies
Mm-hmm.
that can afford to get private chartered shippings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mom and
Oh,
pop stores, they can't afford that. They are
mm-hmm.
at the mercy of the ports.
Oh
That's
yeah.
it. And that's why the ports are making out, because
Oh yeah.
they know your stuff is sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the drivers to move it. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have containers, empty containers to ship back and get product. Um, Nothing's moving around. We're going to start charging you storage fees. Like,
Oh
what?
yeah.
What are we
Mm-hmm.
talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to talk about the container costs, right? I want people to understand the difference that has in just the last 2 years. So,
Mm-hmm.
buying is up, containers are down, right?
Mm-hmm.
A 20-foot container in 2019, they charged $1,500.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. $1,500. In 2020, that went up to 3,000.
Mm-hmm.
In 2021, it can range anywhere now from 4,000 to $6,000 for
Mm-hmm.
that same 20-foot container.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Because the demand went up. The demand went up, and they know they don't have the spaces to keep these things. So I'm gonna make money off of it.
Exactly. So, but that's the thing, they're making out with money all around. So
Mm-hmm.
not only did the cost of the containers go up, but
Mm-hmm.
now we're charging you storage fees,
Mm-hmm.
even though we're the reason you need storage fees.
Well, that's why if they could get everybody talking, if they could say, "Hey, listen, until a certain time," or make a rule that okay, every year you can go up on this price a certain amount,
Yeah,
so then that way we can help everybody out and we can keep it moving. But nobody's talking with each other.
exactly. You know, I really think that they should start utilizing some of these other ports, because
Mm-hmm.
you have containers that are literally stuck on ships,
Mm-hmm.
just sitting in the water. They're docked for like a
Mm-hmm.
week,
Mm-hmm.
just sitting, waiting for storage space.
Oh yeah.
So, in the time that you were just sitting there for a week, we could have rerouted you somewhere else
Mm-hmm.
and got those shipments off the boat, could have got them to the consumer, to the businesses. Like, we can move things. But
Mm-hmm.
again, why are we not talking about this? Why is it not a thing?
I mean, not that I believe anything Biden say, but he said he was supposed to get private entities to help, move the goods. I don't know how soon that's gonna happen. I don't know if it started happening. Like I said, I don't know. I don't. I'm just a. This is my opinion. you
Yeah,
know.
no, I feel you, girl. We all have an opinion about it,
Yeah.
you know. Stephen even included Biden, Democrats, and large companies is why. Somebody's pockets is benefiting, and
Oh
clearly it's
yeah.
not mine. You know, and clearly it's not Keisha's either, because she's still waiting on her washer.
Uh huh. True. Wait, and I got a microwave that I ordered that they told me was just shipped. and I think I ordered the microwave maybe 3-4 months ago.
Damn. A microwave?
Microwave. Mm-hmm.
Girl, you just need to get a refund and go to Home Depot or Target and get one off the shelf.
Oh yeah. It's crazy. And then they like everybody's like the manufacturer, you know. So yeah, it's crazy.
I tell you, you know, I really hope that this whole container issue, it would be nice to see if we started manufacturing them here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, not just because of the shipping, but also because, containers have been utilized for
Mm-hmm.
other things besides just shipping.
Mm-hmm.
They've been used for makeshift schools, restaurants,
Mm-hmm.
clinics, prisons.
Oh, I've seen one of those container homes before.
Yes,
Like the miniature ones, those are cute.
exactly. Exactly. There's a company called Crate Modular. And in the last 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
they've utilized containers
Mm-hmm.
and created 432 beds for the homeless,
Mm-hmm.
81 units of housing,
Oh yeah.
and 350 commercial or educational buildings out of
Mm-hmm.
containers. Like,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine how much more we could do if we were manufacturing containers here in the States,
Yeah. Well,
you
shoot,
know?
I would manufactured more things than containers.
Oh, well,
Oh, we're going places to bring chickens from other places here. We have chickens.
Really? Are you serious?
Yeah,
Wow.
just a whole host of things. I think maybe that'll solve some of the shipping issues too. We produce the stuff here. Like
Yeah.
but I don't want to say that quote because that quote will say something else, but
Yeah.
technically make America great again. You know,
I was
in,
wondering what quote.
in a sense of let's produce our own stuff.
Well, yeah.
That's
But that's
that's
what
the only
Stephen,
sense I mean.
but that's what Stephen was saying before, is
Yeah,
that we need to start manufacturing more of our own products
yeah.
and stop relying on other countries. We're doing
Mhm.
ourselves a disservice,
Yeah. Well, we
you
know we
know?
have to have some type of trade and some type of something, but
Of
I think
course.
we could manufacture more things here.
Of
Like when you're
course.
looking at everything now, very few things, and then say made in USA, especially furniture. That
Mm,
you go into a
clothing.
kitchen over, yeah, clothing. Some.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure. I can't even say why. Well, I do know why I stopped. I ain't gonna lie. It's not that they want
Hilarious.
to, labor's some people's labor isn't as cheap as it used to be.
Yeah. Mm,
You know, so that's
yes.
one thing why some of the things stopped. It's like in the after the depression and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
still could get people working into the factories. They were getting good. I guess the inflation of the dollar also.
Mm,
It was getting pretty decent place. Being, I guess, what they call middle class America.
yeah.
And when you stop manufacturing these things, then these people, the factories go away, like in Detroit. You know, those type of. Oh, that's like Detroit, yeah. Those type of the factories and stuff go away.
You are too funny.
So you don't have the factories no more. You don't have people working no more. But
Yeah.
I did see that in Detroit, there's a lot of infrastructure. There's a lot of Chinese companies have bought properties in Detroit,
Yeah.
even old factories and stuff to help revitalize because they still have to pay a certain thing to America to be
Mm,
functioning in American, to be functioning here and having a factory and stuff. But once they can revitalize those type of areas and stuff like that and
yeah.
do it throughout the US,
Mm-hmm.
I think we could start bringing in US dollars again and keeping the money here.
I am all about keeping the money here as long
Yeah.
as they're implementing a solid plan, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Um, but, I get it. It takes time to have a solid plan, but enough of the talking. There needs to be more action. Give something a try. I mean, do a trial run, see
Uh-huh.
how something works, a short lived program. And if the program is a success,
Mm-hmm.
have it go live
Mm-hmm.
everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
um, they need to come up with a better plan for us.
Mm-hmm.
We're to be so smart of a country and so dumb at the same time
Mm-hmm.
because we are at other people's mercy.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. Stephen is entertaining us. He said he was out of here to blaze and get drunk and then transport some
Oh, you
containers
better
over
stop.
state lines.
You better stop. I'm reporting you, Steven. I'm like,
Bruh,
it's him. He the crazy driver.
I'm just saying, Stephen, can I join you? Let's go do this on my little bit of sleep. I'll be passed out. He said, give it a few more months. 2 million illegal aliens in a year. We can have our own sweatshops again.
Oh, stop it. Oh, no, no, no. Don't you say that.
Is Kathy Lee Gifford coming back? What's going on?
But, we say those things, but we're not taking certain jobs either.
We're
So,
not. I mean, listen, I give two craps that immigrants come here and take some jobs. It was probably a job I didn't want anyway. And
mhm,
not for nothing, the pandemic has definitely shown us how many people don't want the crappy jobs because they're
mhm.
still around because nobody's working them. I'm just saying,
That's
you
what we're
know.
going to come back to. I'm telling you that poor rich. We're going to have no choice but to work them soon. Because, like you said, when you're going into the workforce, they're saying, okay, you used to doing this and doing that, but they're saying, okay, now for you to do this, and that, we're giving you a lower salary. Because
Yeah.
while we've closed offices, so we know we don't need the force here and have to rent a building for people to work like we used to.
Yeah.
And we have some people working from home, which is more cost efficient than running the building, lights, whatever, heat, and all that kind of stuff. So,
Exactly.
and then a lot of new kids are graduating from school or coming into the workforce, and they like, we could get them for dirt cheap. you
For
know?
real. For
So,
real.
yeah.
But I really wish that some of those companies that have decided that they don't need an office,
Mm-hmm.
have people working from home, what they need to do instead of being greedy and just putting
Mm-hmm.
that extra cash in their pocket,
Mm-hmm.
start enticing some of your staff to want to stay with you.
Yeah.
Start incorporating bonuses or
Mm-hmm.
incentives to,
Oh yeah.
I don't know, to make a better business.
Mm-hmm.
I know that was one of the things that they were talking about to make truck driving a more enticing job.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a facelift, so think about it. Truck drivers, you're going cross country sometimes
Mm-hmm.
or, a couple of states over.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of drivers get paid by the mile or by the delivery.
Mm-hmm.
While they're waiting for the truck to be loaded or waiting for the truck to be unloaded, they don't get paid.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing extra.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you, like, I've worked for companies before
Mm-hmm.
where, we had a loading dock, we had our own warehouse, and I happen to be at a company now where
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing it all over again. Those drivers could be standing around for like 2 or 3 hours. That
Mm-hmm.
extra 2 or 3 hours, they don't get paid for.
Right.
So, um, I know that, they're trying to push for new incentives. How can we, incorporate an incentive when a driver is on standby?
Mm-hmm.
I vote that they come up with a pay process kind of like the airlines. So when pilots and flight attendants
Mm-hmm.
are in flight, like
Mm-hmm.
actually operating the plane, they
Mm-hmm.
get their regular salary.
Mm-hmm.
When they report to the airport and are on standby, waiting until that door closes,
Mm-hmm.
they actually get like half their pay. They get like oh, there's a word for it. If somebody's on here and remembers it, put it in the comments. But there's a word for it when you're on standby. It's like a standby rate.
Okay.
So you're not just standing around for your own good health. You're
Mm-hmm.
on the clock, just not getting paid a normal salary.
Like half. So you're saying half? They get half pay?
Exactly. So, if,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I mean, flight attendants really don't get paid that well, but let's just say like UPS, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those pilots get paid. So instead of making your $50 an hour, you might only be making $25 an hour
Mm-hmm.
on your standby time.
Mm-hmm.
I think something like that should be incorporated for drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what does there have to be rules behind it? I think so. Just so they're not geeing off and, you know, bullshitting somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You get to the dock, you have to check in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what pilots and flight attendants do.
Oh,
They
yeah.
actually have to check in to get the clock to start.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the door closes, the real clock starts.
Mm-hmm.
So they should come up with a process. You know, the driver has to call into his dispatch or whatever and say, okay, I just arrived. Start that, you know, halftime clock or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the hell they want to call it, you know? Stevens, he said, put Kathy Lee behind a big rig.
Oh shoot.
She'll find a way to have the sweatshop in the back of the rig.
Oh shoot.
If the driver is not unloading it, they can use the time to add their sleep log so they can drive more when the load is taken off. True, but I don't know too many drivers that are sleeping in the truck while they're unloading. I mean, I don't know. Cross country, maybe. I'll have to ask Dwayne's cousin because he actually drives cross country.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if you're in the process, like you have arrived to do the pickup
Mm-hmm.
or to do the drop off, and people at the loading dock are doing this for you, I mean, you're still standing around doing diddly squat. If you're able to get in the back of the cab and sleep,
Mm-hmm.
kudos, you're winning. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
want to do. You know, but um I don't know. I mean, I'm waiting for something to change. You know, holidays are here, you know. Thankfully, Thanksgiving is really not a, you know, let me shop online holiday. But the next day, you know, Black Friday,
Oh
Cyber
yeah.
Monday,
Well,
Christmas is
they
hmm?
warned about shortage and stuff. So
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure a lot of people not gonna be having the gifts they wanted.
yeah, yeah. I mean, not for nothing. We've decided as a family this year, we
Mm-hmm.
just want to enjoy each other's company
Oh yeah.
and eat food.
Oh yeah.
So we're
Because
gonna
the
eat
price is gonna
food.
get ridiculous. The
Yeah.
prices of things now is gonna be ridiculous because of the shortage. They're not letting in the points. But Biden said that in California they're supposed to start working 24/7 around the clock.
Yeah.
So
They're trying. They're
we'll see what
trying.
happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Here's the issue though, you know, like if you get the drivers are 24/7, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like they're working around the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Um you can make the warehouses, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
all the storage is at. You can
Mm-hmm.
make those 24/7.
Yes.
But
Mm-hmm.
until you get the ports
Mm-hmm.
to be 24/7, what's the point for everything else?
Yeah, that's
You
what he
know?
said. He broke it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens. He said he. I don't know. That's what they say. But he's.
I'm
I
telling
have
you.
it here somewhere. I forgot what he called it. He named it something. But
Yeah.
they're supposed to do nighttime and weekend shifts. Maybe a couple of weeks ago they was talking about it. So I
Yeah.
don't know when it's going to be starting to be implemented. But once he do that, that'll help give a good boost.
Gotcha. Hopefully.
Oh yeah.
Cross our fingers on that one.
Oh yeah.
So Stephen said Biden said that a month ago. That hasn't helped the situation.
I did say a couple of weeks, Stephen.
Yeah. Maybe there was a delay in that answer. I don't know. You know, um, listen, again, somebody else needs to push the issue, and you guys already know that's why we're here to bring up topics like this.
Oh yeah.
Let's get talking about it. You go to work, you talk to your friends, talk about it. These are topics that need to get pushed.
Mm-hmm.
Bring awareness, because there's some people who are just sitting around in the dark and don't even know this is going on.
Mm-hmm.
They see prices going up, but they don't even understand why.
Oh yeah.
So we need to start talking about it, and how are we going to make this change?
But you need.
So.
I'm always thinking, because I'm always thinking conspiracy. So I'm like, this is the reason this is happening.
Well, telling you, there's some conspiracy in here because somebody's getting paid.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's not us.
Oh yeah.
So Stephen said they started the 24/7 2 weeks ago. They still need drivers. The containers are still not going.
Well, I agree with the thing he said about the 18-year-olds, because I feel if we could send these kids off to war,
exactly,
we can let them drive across state lines. I don't really understand.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because
If
they're
you're
up days, nights.
hello, I mean, not for nothing, 18 and 20, I mean, you're pushing through. That's like you're your prime. You can go on a little bit of sleep. You got that 50-year-old truck driver. He's like, I need to pull over. It's been 2 hours. 2 hours. I need a nap.
Get one of them energy drinks.
Exactly.
Oh, you on speed now,
girl. Please. I'm driving into work and I'm like, can I take a nap before I start?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I get it, but these young kids are driving within the state. You're working for a driving company. Why can't you cross that state line? That makes absolutely no sense.
But you know what I'm thinking too?
What's
Maybe
that?
it has to do with insurance.
I get that. Being a young driver, right? But
would the rates go up
even
so much,
even at 21, right? A 21, let's put it this way, a 21-year-old cannot rent a vehicle. You really got to be like, I think it's 24 to rent a vehicle.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
wow.
I think you can rent the vehicle, but you got to pay money as a down payment, as a deposit, because you're a liability. But again,
that's the only thing I could think of why the age limit hasn't been lowered. It has to be something maybe with insurance purposes, and maybe it would be way much an expense than profit. That's the only thing I could think.
I hear you. I definitely hear you. I mean, not for nothing. I mean, if I guess this is where you need to weigh it out, right? So an 18 to 20-year-old, you're starting at the bottom of the ladder, right? So you're coming into the company. Obviously, you're not going to get paid as much. You're taking a risk. So that money that you're not paying that new driver, that you do pay the more experienced driver, should go towards the insurance coverage, because he has to go interstate. I mean,
that's what I'm thinking, but I see Steven says something different.
Oh, did he? Yeah. Well, I agree with Tesla. That would be nice if Tesla could come up with that. Just saying. And he's almost 50. Bro, we all almost 50. Don't tell anybody else. But he said, no, it's all federal red tape due to interstate regulations, no insurance issue. Well, so who the hell's going to change it? Because again, it doesn't make any sense.
That one I don't know for sure. I just,
I mean,
that was off the top of my head. So I don't know if
yeah,
it's interstate, if it's insurance. It has to do. It has to be something where people ain't gonna make a profit, maybe too.
I
Because
just
remember,
don't get it.
companies are about money.
Of course. But
So,
if you're 20 years old, you can get in your own personal vehicle and drive wherever the hell
mm-hmm,
you want to drive.
mm-hmm,
What's the difference if you are old enough to work, you're
mm-hmm,
old enough to drive?
mm-hmm.
Why can the 21-year-old do
Do
it,
it.
but the 20-year-old can't?
Yeah, that's
Why?
what we're gonna have. I'm gonna have to look that into that
Yeah.
when we come off and find out what is the reason.
You
Yeah.
know? Yeah. But yeah, this is something. Again, I hope you guys out there have already purchased your Christmas items.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Because
only purchased
it's gonna be
two,
like the Elmo craze.
you know. I purchased two already. Macy's is taking forever to ship this one item. I should have just went to the damn store. But I hope you guys get your orders in and
Mm-hmm.
get them shipped out to you before the holiday.
Oh yeah.
And if you don't, well, I mean, who said you had to celebrate Christmas on Christmas? I mean,
Oh,
you celebrate Christmas when you want to. Just saying.
oh yeah. I'm not doing nothing to make nobody richer but me.
Facts. More money in my pockets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But all right. Well, I appreciate everyone for coming out tonight, participating, listening to us
Mhm.
babble about these topics.
Oh yeah.
Um, I want to try to really incorporate, the audience more in future shows. In case you did not see below, I did put the phone number there. We're going to come up with a way to have you guys interact. Sometimes typing out a really long message, nobody wants to do that. Sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
just want to jump in and give an answer. So
Mm-hmm.
we're going to have you guys have the ability to call in, whether that be on the phone, Facebook Messenger, Instagram chat.
Mm-hmm.
I could pop you in on video. We could see your beautiful face, or you could just do the audio and we can listen to you. So
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
thank you, Stephen. I hope you and Mom are enjoying the show. Um, but yeah, we want to incorporate the audience more. Again, getting you guys involved. This is conversation for all of us, not just Keisha and myself to talk
Mm-hmm.
at you. We want to talk
Oh yeah.
with you. So we will post up what next week topic is. We already know. We got jumpstart on this one. But yes, we have a very interesting topic that is coming next week. I don't want to talk about it right now. Once we
Mm-hmm.
have everything finalized tomorrow, we will
Mm-hmm.
share.
Oh yeah.
So, again, thanks for coming out. You guys are great. Keisha,
Alrighty.
it's been great talking with you. We're going to debate after the show. All right, y'all. Have a
Alrighty.
beautiful night.